I want to get serious for a moment. We're talking about treating anxiety in kids who are stressed about going back to school. And of course, this comes just a day after we learned of the tragic shooting in Georgia at Appalachia High School. 4 dead, at least 9 injured. And of course, when it comes to, mental scarring and moving forward, its numbers certainly a lot higher than that. I want to bring into the conversation right now a licensed professional counselor and the owner and founder of the Mindscape Mental Health. Michelle Dean is with us to talk about it. Anxiety in kids back to school, what we saw yesterday, Michelle, certainly does not help.
Right, it really doesn't.
So what can you tell us about that part of the anxiety when it comes to safety? How much of that is causing anxiety in kids in current day, even ahead of yesterday, but especially now?
Yeah, that's a really big cause, especially post-COVID and then these shootings. There's a really big anxiety surrounding attending school because of these things that have happened, and kids are seeing it in the media, hearing it from their friends, from parents, and it really can make them panicky and scared when they attend school.
And there's a lot of differences between the generations, and there's some people that look on kids and say, oh, we'll just suck it up. But I mean, is it really true that kids, they have more anxieties that are warranted when it comes to not only safety, but anxieties maybe around testing, the pressure of having good accolades in school and social media? Are children really facing more anxiety now versus in the past?
In my experience, I see kids that are experiencing a much higher level of anxiety than previously. The pressure that's put on them to know what they want to do, pick a path even for high school of this is going to lead to my career. It does put so much more pressure on them, and you see a lot more kids experiencing higher levels of anxiety than what you would say is in a much more generalized range. We're seeing more specific phobias, even related to health or post-COVID. So heartbreaking to see.
Yeah. Without a crystal ball, what does that mean? Kids experiencing more anxiety for the future. What is that going to do to them? And we've already seen now, and we continue to see generations who have been in this school shooting world, like, for example, now all the way back to 2018. It's now been 6 years since Parkland. Some of those students have moved on to do things like political activism, and they're pushing back against school shootings and things like that. But I'm just wondering, long term, what does this mean for this generation?
The good thing about this generation is that they are seeking help. There is a lot more awareness of mental health, and even so much so that I'll have clients that they have said, hey, I recommended you to my friend, or we were talking about a therapist, and do you know somebody else like I could refer a friend to see, which is really important for the conversation to be open and for kids to feel like they can talk to each other, to their parents, to a counselor, their school counselor, teachers, because that network of support is so important.
So therapy, obviously important, conversations important with parents and counselors. I mean, what other recommendations do you have for these kids that are facing anxiety? And it's not only just with school safety, but all the things that you mentioned with the testing, the social media, all those things.
Some of my recommendations would be, one, for parents. If you're seeing things that are coming up like in physical form, like your kid is complaining of headaches or stomach aches, that maybe it's to really further the conversation into, is there something else going on? It might not be, but some of those things are related to anxiety. For kids, also, I think it's important that they know it's okay to ask for help. That there's a lot more people experiencing it. I know whenever you're experiencing it, it feels like you're alone. And you're the only one in the world that thinks like this or feels like this. And it's important to know that you're not the only one. There are so many people that experience this who can relate to you and also help you get the help that you need.
I was going to say, is there like a natural hesitancy to speaking out about anxiety, even if it comes to like siblings or parents? Just because you feel so alone and you're not sure how they're going to react to it, it's not something that kids just automatically volunteer.
Right. A lot of times, especially younger kids, don't know what they're experiencing. They feel embarrassed or ashamed of what they're experiencing. And so that's what I was saying. It might come out as in different forms. Like it might be that they're getting angry or irritable more quickly. They're having a lot of negative thoughts. They're crying more, complaining of stomach aches, feeling unwell, wanting to be by themselves, or even having it hard time concentrating, not sleeping. All of those things are symptoms of anxiety, and sometimes kids just don't know what that is. And so having a parent that is aware that some of these things can be signs or symptoms of anxiety can be really helpful in discovering what's really going on, because to them they're having headaches a lot, or their stomach hurts and they don't want to go places, and they don't connect those dots and say, oh, that's anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't know what it is. They're just like, I don't feel right. And a lot of times kids will come home. So what do they say if they are coming home this week and they're saying, you know what, I heard about this school shooting. I'm talking middle school, high school, and I truly just don't feel safe going to school? Because my kids, they haven't said that yet, but I thought about it the other day. What about when they come to me and say that? What do you do? I mean, if it's legit, if they're just trying to get out of the test, then no. But if they legitimately are scared, what do you do? And we only have about 30 seconds, but that's a tough situation.
Yeah, I have found that it's been really helpful for me to go over the school safety plan with them, for them to know in this event, what do I do? With anxiety, a lot of times over planning is something that can help. So if they know where to go, who to talk to, and that when they feel this way or feel threatened by another kid, knowing they can go to the school counselor or any other, their teachers, and say, hey, I'm feeling this way, it helps them feel a lot safer.
Great. Licensed professional counselor and owner and founder of Mindscape Mental Health, Michelle Dean, thank you for joining us this morning on DFW's Morning News. We appreciate it.
Thank you all for having me.